Let's begin writing main activity. Before we do so, let's take a look at the structure of the info we are going to get from recipe server. So here, recipepuppy.com, as we use API to have access to the server, such as ingredients, onion, garlic, and then general search term is omelet on page 3. What you get is a JSON data. So JSON data, let's take a look at some structure. Here we don't get formatted view, so let's just copy all of the data and then paste it on the Android Studio to see the structure, the view of that. So here let's do new file, and then let's create JSON file, the .json file, and then paste all the contents we get there, and then do code and then reformat code. Then we can see the formatted view of the JSON data we may get. So here briefly, the overall we have one big JSON object. Within that we have several properties and values. Title value, title value, title value, and then the last property is a result. That is the search result. In this search result, we have a square bracket means array of recipe info. One info is one JSON object. In this one JSON object of recipe info, we have four properties: title, which is a recipe title; reference, URL to get the details of the recipe info; and then ingredients is a list of ingredients, and the thumbnail is an image of the recipe. So in our app, we are going to display this one recipe info in one entry of the list view. So to do so, let's define a recipe info class to represent this structure. Here, new Kotlin class, recipe info class. Let's going to define in a constructor. Title is a string, and then href is a string, and then ingredient list is a string. Also, thumbnail is a URL to the image, so let's get it as a string for now. Then in main activity, let's define an array list to hold a list of those recipe info. So var recipe info list is array list of recipe info there. Then when the list view, we need to set adapter there. So let's create adapter for list view, array adapter for recipe info, then context, the layout of each entry, then array list, recipe info list. Then we put adapter there. Now as we click search button, what we are going to do is read the title, read the ingredients. So from ID, ingredient input, text to string, trim, and then search key from ID, search key input, text to string, trim there. So using those two info, we are going to connect to the web server. And connecting to the web server, requires some complex procedure, and we may need to understand the details of how HTTP protocol works. But for this exercise, we are going to use some well developed suggested code instead of doing all by ourselves. Let's do that in next session.